Hello, grade 7. How are you today? I hope you all are safe and well. We studied before about variation. Today we will study the causes of variation. So let's have a quick review about variation. We said that everyone has different combination of features. That's why we have similarities, something in common between us, and we have a lot of things that different. And we said that differences between individuals are called variation. So this is the definition of variation, the differences between individuals. We said that blood groups show discontinuous variation, and height, body mass show continuous variation. So we have two sorts of variation, which is continuous and discontinuous. We said about variation also that everyone has some features that are unique. So each one of us is different and unique from the other one. Today we will study about causes of variation. What causes of these variation that we have it? We all came from the same mother, and like in the same family, brothers and sisters. They came from the same mother and father. So why we look different? We have something in common, but why we look different? What the causes of these variation? So to know more about this, open your books on page 70 and grab your highlighters. Follow me, please. Causes of variation. Inherited features. What's the meaning of inherited features? We all have features that we took from our father and mother. This is inherited. That's something we took from our parents or grandparents or our ancestors. So these inherited features came from the father and mother. Rachel has two older sisters and her mom is about to give birth again. The three girls look different, but they all have inherited some of each parent's features. So look at this picture. These three sisters are different, but they have they inherited some of their features from father and mother. You can look at this girl's skin color, looks like a little bit like the mother. This one darker than the father and the mother, and this one like the father. So why do you look different? Some features are present when we are born. Like what? Such as Rachel's eye color and blood group won't change as she gets older. So when we were born, we still have, since we were born until now, we still have the same eye color, we still have the same blood group. They don't change. When we get older, we don't change our blood group or our eye color. Some of babies, they have like different eye color, like light eye color as they born, but it can be darker over time. But this is for another reason. But in general, we don't change this eye color because we have the gene of the eye color, so this gene doesn't change. Other features develop as we grow and age. So some people have light color, blonde hair color as they grow up. As they grow up, they can have darker, like dark brown or black color of their hair. Rachel is still growing. She can't be sure how tall she will get or what her final body mass will be. So these two features, like body mass and height, they can change over time depending on something. So why we have some features that could change and some features that don't change? Let's see together. So all these features because of something called genes. We all heard about something that called genes inside our cells. So can you remember the structure of the cell, of the animal cell? We said that, or the cells in general. We said that since we are talking about the animal cells now, we said that they composed of nucleus, cell membrane, and cytoplasm. So can you remember the nucleus? We have something inside it which is set of instruction called genes. These genes are responsible for controlling the body, controlling everything your cells do. These genes controlling the reactions, controlling the color of your skin, controlling your shape, your body mass, your everything, okay? But in the beginning, but for example, as we said, body mass can change, height can change, your hair color can change sometimes. That depends on some factors. We will go to this point later, but let's talk about genes and what are those genes. Your features depend on the genes you inherit from your parents. So all of us, all the organisms, have genes that inherited from the parents, half of them from the mother and half of them from the father. That's why we look sometimes like our mother, half of our, like, we have some features from the mother, like the eye, the skin color, and we have some features that we took or we inherited from our father, like the personality, or like the hair color, the eye colors, anything. There is a copy of these genes in the nucleus of every cell in your body. So each cell in your body have a copy of these genes. They act as your body's recipe book. So when we want to cook, we should have a recipe to show us or to tell us what to do exactly. So this is the genes inside us, or inside the nucleus. They tell the cells what to do exactly. So genes tell your cells what to do. Your cells form tissues and organs, so instructions in your genes shape your whole body. So inside our cells we have these genes that control our shape of the body, the shape of the eye, the strength of the hair, the color of the hair, the eye color, the skin color, everything that we are made of. Most cells only have certain function. They don't use every gene. So some Rachel's cells just produce color of her hair. They follow the instructions in her hair color genes and make her hair black. So she has genes that produce the hair color, so tell these cells to produce the hair as black. Like here you have in this picture. So these are the genes, Rachel's recipe of genes, that tell the cells to make her hair black color, strong and curly. Some genes are the same in everyone, so they produce the same body parts in everyone. So that's why we look different from the animals. Our genes are the same in everyone. We have this. We share the same genes. Some of these genes. That's why we look humans. We can walk on two legs. We have a straight body. We don't walk on four. We don't have heads like cats. We don't have ears on the top of our heads. Okay, and that's also what makes the animals similar to each other. However, there are many different genes that control hair color. Rachel's hair would be a different color if she had inherited different genes. So if she got a different genes, she would have another color of her hair. So what do we call this variation? We call it inherited variation. Why? Because it's caused by genes. So if you got a question about this, what do we call the variation that caused by genes? This is called inherited genes. So inherited variation, sorry. So why do we call it inherited variations? Because these genes we inherited from the parents. Okay, what about the environment? We have another variation, another classification of variation. We call it environmental variation. So what is this environmental variation? The environment. This miniature tree is called bonsai. So this is a miniature, means like a small tree. So it's called bonsai. It has the same genes of a full-sized as a full-sized tree, but the shallow tree stops its root growing. As you can see here, it's just let's see for a minute here. As you can see here, they are growing this tree. This is this miniature tree in a tray, shallow tray. It's like a dish, okay? They didn't plant it in a deep ground or deep soil. No, they just put it for decoration in a shallow tray. So this shallow tray stops the root from the roots growing. The tree's small size is not caused by genes. So actually in nature or in normal size, it's not a small sized tree, but it's because of the surrounding, because of this tray, it cannot spread the roots deeper than this. So this tray stopped the growing of these of its roots. Actually, it's a full-sized tree. Plants that don't get enough light, water, and minerals don't grow as big as those that do. This is an example of environmental variation. So if we provided healthy conditions for a plant for a plant, okay, and we have the same exact type of plant with the same size, or let's say seeds, but we prevented the light or straight light from it, and we don't irrigate it too much. So as they grow, the healthy conditions, the one with the healthy conditions, will grow in healthy environment. It will be bigger than the unhealthy one. So this is because of the environment around it. That's why we call it environmental variation. Identical twins. Humans are, and other animals are, affected by their environments too. Your environment doesn't just mean your surroundings. Everything you eat, drink, do, and learn affects you in some way. So if you're sleeping early, let's say sleeping early and eating healthy diet, reading books, drinking water a lot, doing an exercise every day, regularly, so this could affect your body mass, could affect your height too, could affect your health. So this is called environmental variation. It doesn't relate it with your genes. You inherited some features from your parents, but your environment, anything you are doing, affected you somehow. Samuel and Moses are identical twins. They inherited the same genes from their parents. The twins were hard to tell apart when they were babies. Samuel was ill last year. He lost a lot of weight, but he still plays football. Moses prefers boxing. He has built up his muscles by lifting weights. You can see differences between the twins. This is environmental variation. So as you can see in this picture, this is Moses. He has here like muscles, and this is Samuel. Both of them, they were born as identical twins, and you can see the similarity between them. They are identical, but the environment that they are in affected them. So Samuel was ill, but so he lost a lot of weight. But his brother, he's having an exercise, he's performing boxing, he's playing boxing a lot, so he has big muscles. So even his body mass changed, increased by this sport, but his brother is the opposite. He's skinny, but still they have the same genes. So what causes this variation? The environment. So this is an example of environmental variation. Most of your features are affected by both your genes and your environment. So you inherit some of the genes from father and mother, but your environment also could control you. So if you compared between your body mass and height and another person in another country with different environment, with different diet, with different type of food, with different conditions, healthy conditions or bad conditions, you will find there is a lot of there is a big difference, and there is a variation between you and him or her in the body mass, in weight, but you have the same age. You can inherit the genes for a fit, athletic body, but you won't have one unless you eat well and train hard. So let's talk about the brothers and sisters. Let's say sisters. So each one of us has a sister or brother. So we all came from the same mother and father, but we are different. So if I have a twin, if we are having the same exact diet and the same amount of water, the same hobbies, the same sport, the same education, we will be identical in everything. But if I'm doing an exercise and my sister is lazy, this can affect her body mass and her height too. So this is environmental variation. So we have the genetic, but we have also environmental variation. Changing environments. Between 1985 and 2005, the average height of Chinese teenagers increased by 6 centimeters. So this is a guy in 1985. This is a teenager in 1985, and this is the teenager in 2005. So their height increased by 6 centimeters. This isn't because their genes have changed. So they didn't change genes because genes are the same. They don't change. Young people have a better standard of living now and more nutritious food. So more of them reach the maximum height their genes can produce. So because of their environment are much healthy, and the lifestyle of their lifestyle is better than before, they start to have different height and increased in their height, even their body mass. You can see the difference between those two guys. Your genes and environment interact throughout your life to control the way you grow and develop. So both of them are working to control the way you grow and develop. So now let's go to the summary of the lesson. Causes of variation. Everyone inherits a unique set of genes from their parents. Genes shape your body by controlling what your cells do. Your environment also influences most of your features. Each type of cell uses the instructions in different genes. So this was all about causes of variation. I'm gonna leave you with a small short video to show you or to explain more about causes of variation, the environmental and genetic. So I hope you understood the lesson. Don't forget the yellow box as a homework, and if you have any question, write it down. Please don't forget to write these notes in your notebook. I hope to see you soon, and we will meet in a new lesson. So I'm gonna leave you with the video as last thing.
Look at these cute baby animals. You will have immediately observed how cute and fluffy they are. But you will also have noticed that they are different. They vary. Yes, some are puppies and some are kittens. There is a great deal of variation between species, but also there is variation within a species. One puppy is fluffier than the other. They have different coloured fur, and the kittens have different coloured eyes. Variation is the differences in the characteristics of individuals in a population. It can be due to genetics, the environment, or a combination of both. Let's start with genetics. Different members of a population have different DNA, unless they are identical twins. This means they have different versions of genes called alleles, and these alleles give rise to different characteristics. For example, on the eye colour gene, this kitten has an allele for blue eye colour, whereas this kitten has an allele for brown eye colour. If the species reproduce by sexual reproduction, the random mixing of alleles from both parents result in extensive genetic variation within a population of a species. This means that some individuals are better adapted to their environment than others, allowing natural selection to take place. For example, in a population of rats, some will either have better eyesight than others. These will be able to avoid being eaten by predators, so are more likely to survive, to reproduce, and pass on this advantage to their offspring. If you want to learn more about natural selection, watch this video. Some examples of variation in humans that are controlled by genes include eye colour and blood group. If you have a blood group A, it's because you have the alleles for this characteristic. This is genetic variation, and it is something that you were born with, and nothing can change it. Some variation is due to the environment or lifestyle of the organisms. Examples in humans are hair length. It depends on how short you decide to cut it. Your accent, as this is linked to where you live, and if you have any piercings, tattoos or scars. These are characteristics that you acquire throughout your life. Many characteristics are due to a combination of both genetics and the environment. For example, the height a person can grow to is determined by genetics. Tall parents tend to produce tall children. However, a person will not grow to their potential height unless they eat a healthy, balanced diet. Also, there is some debate on how much intelligence is due to genetics or the quality of education a person receives. Is intelligence more due to nature or nurture? To answer these questions, scientists can do experiments using identical twins. If the characteristic in both twins is the same, then it is most likely due to genetics. If it is different, then the environment has played an important role. For example, identical twins will have the same eye colour, as this is only due to genetics, but they will have different personalities, talents, likes and dislikes, and this shows that these are also influenced by the environment. So, in this video, we learned about variation, and how it can be controlled by genetics, the environment, or sometimes both.